SoFi reports Q4 earnings on Monday before the bell. And in this video, we're going to be talking about all the pieces of news leading up to that earnings, including analysts changing their price targets, including a major partnership with Chipotle, and including some funds that have been adding SoFi stock days before Q4 earnings. Let's jump right into it. To start off this video, one thing we won't be talking about is earnings predictions, as that's an entirely separate video that I posted on Wednesday. If you haven't seen that yet, that's going to be linked in the description and at the end of this video, so definitely check that out later. And the second piece of housekeeping is that the SoFi Weekly podcast was also last night on Thursday, when we did further earnings predictions on members, products, tech platform, EBITDA, price, and more, so you can definitely check that out. In terms of news, this week has been relatively light as it's the weeks preceding the earnings report, and generally companies don't release a lot of news in those weeks. Last piece of update, super quick before we get into the episode. I do SoFi Weekly news recaps every single Friday, and that's what this video is. And if you haven't seen these episodes before and you want to follow along, just subscribe to the channel for more content around SoFi. Now, in terms of the stock price movement for SoFi this week, the stock is slightly down. It's about 2.7% down over the past 5 days. It closed off today at $7.62. In terms of the news, I'm going to go chronologically. On Monday, Compass Point reiterated their sell rating on SoFi. Compass Point is one of the more bearish analysts on SoFi. They have a $4 price target, which they reiterated on Monday. Now, you're going to see this as a theme as we start getting closer and closer into earnings. More price analysts are going to come out of the woodwork and reiterate their price targets. This also came up last week, and I think, if you've seen my videos in the past, you already know my thoughts on this. But at a high level, basically nothing fundamental has changed about the company in quite a little bit over the past couple of months. And after we receive the Q4 earnings results, as well as the full 2024 guidance that the company provides, these analysts will have to go back and change their models once again, because now all of a sudden they have new information at their disposal that they need to plug into their models, right? And so all that to say, I think it's pretty useless when analysts come and reiterate their price targets weeks leading up to the earnings, when they know that they're going to have to go back right after the earnings and change everything again. So at a high level, that's my thoughts. Whether it's bullish or whether it's bearish, I think these analyst price target reiterations don't really mean much, because we know earnings is going to be the catalyst where they're all going to change their numbers anyways. Moving on Tuesday, Chris Hager posted on X, quoting a Bender 9000 piece of news, that ARK Invest Venture Fund was available on the SoFi Beta app. SoFi Invest users cannot see this just yet, but it does mean that it's pretty close to being live. Why does this matter? Well, I mentioned back, I think, November or December, when Cathie Wood hosted a Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk, she did name drop SoFi, saying that the ARK Innovation Fund would be available starting in January, which will allow SoFi Invest users to have exposure to many prestigious private companies, including SpaceX. And the reason why this is exciting is because it's yet another perk for the SoFi Invest app to have for existing members that they can leverage that maybe another broker might not provide. And in this case, a lot of brokers don't have this privilege. I think ARK Invest Venture Fund was previously available on Andreessen Horowitz's product called Titan, which is very, very small, and now it's coming into SoFi. So a lot of other brokerages don't actually offer this. And this is also important because SoFi Invest can leverage this to entice new users to convert to SoFi, because they have more offerings for users. So overall, it's very good to see that the timeline for January is still keeping up. We expect this to be live on the SoFi Invest app very shortly. If it's on the beta version, it means that it's in final testing right before release. So we'll stay tuned on that front. But if you do see it on your app, let me know on X. Okay, moving on. On Wednesday, Chipotle put out a press release where they were offering student loan retirement matching for their employees, and they were doing so through the use of SoFi's student loan verification service. This news is very similar to the Kimley Horn partnership, where SoFi at Work announced in December. And quite frankly, it's great to see SoFi being the catalyst for more businesses offering these benefits to their employees. Chipotle highlighted in their press release that once an employee becomes eligible for the 401k plan, the company is going to go ahead and match up to 4% of their salary through contributions to their 401k if they make eligible student loan payments. So it's very similar to the Kimley Horn benefit, where employees are going to pay off their student loans and the employer is going to put an equivalent amount in that employee's 401k. And this is becoming a more popular perk that I'm seeing around, And these companies are going to start offering this more and more to their employees because it's a pretty enticing perk. And SoFi's student loan verification service is going to be crucial in this process. So what I'm expecting is over the next couple of months, I'm expecting more partnerships with SoFi at Work of the very same nature, which is obviously very bullish for SoFi because SoFi at Work sees an acceleration. Also on Wednesday, I saw that Chris posted on X around a Jefferies analyst called John Hatch, reiterating his buy rating on SoFi with a $15 price target. This is a 5-star analyst who has a 60% success rating, who is reiterating a very high price target for SoFi days before earnings. Like I said before, I'm not going to go in depth as I shared my thoughts on this in the previous analyst with a $4 price target. Whether it's bullish, whether it's bearish, it doesn't really matter because they're going to change their price targets anyways. If SoFi executes, everybody is going to move their target up. If SoFi misses, everybody is going to move their targets down. That's just how it works. Now, something more interesting that I saw, I posted about on X earlier today. As I was doing one last sweep of SoFi news in anticipation for this video, I saw a post on Reddit around an individual who had taken a look at Fintel. And Fintel, of course, shows insider buying and selling. It shows institutional buying and selling. And what happened was Fintel has been showing many transactions with regards to SoFi that have been going on this week. And this particular individual on Reddit highlighted that Fidelity and Schwab funds had been collectively adding around 2 million shares of SoFi to their holdings over the past 2 days alone. On Thursday, about 5 funds from Fidelity collectively added about 1.5 million shares. And on Friday, earlier today, 3 Schwab funds collectively added another 500,000 shares. Now, this is interesting to see before we head into earnings because, I mean, you can start the speculation train all you want. You can say that, wow, like funds are getting bullish because they know something. But in reality, this could be a coincidence. It could be a sign of these funds who represent individuals. It's the individuals that are buying and selling. Oftentimes, it's not the actual fund themselves. It could also be hedging against a short position. Like, we don't know, right? Obviously, it's good to say that more shares being bought is positive, but that's a super high level. I'm just going to chalk it up to it being a good omen for heading into Monday, right? So not too much speculation I want to do on that because there's a ton of different reasons that could account for the timing, and there's a ton of different reasons that could account for the actual buying itself. However, like I said, if shares get bought, that's a good sign. Those are all the news that I saw this week. There's no SoFi Weekly tonight as we covered that last night. However, on this weekend, I will be releasing a SoFi Weekly highlights video with the best moments, which I release every Sunday. And on Monday, a large group of us SoFi content creators are getting together to listen to the earnings report together. You can join in and listen along with us on this channel come Monday morning. Right now, this is the Fundamentals of Investing podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all on Monday.